MrBeast says he has negative money, not less than you'd expect. Negative. He says he's borrowing cash, and once borrowed from his mom for his wedding. But the same guy testified that he owned a little over half of a company valued around $5 billion. That stake could be worth more than $2.5 billion on paper. So which is it? Empty wallet or secret billionaire? Weirdly, both. Because three completely different piles of money hide behind the name MrBeast, and one of them is burning cash at a ridiculous speed. The answer only makes sense when we separate those three boxes: Jimmy's personal bank account, his ownership in Beast Industries, and the cash inside the company. Online net worth posts mash them into one giant number. We won't. We'll follow where the money enters, where it disappears, and why a chocolate bar may be holding up the entire machine. Start with the number we cannot see, his actual bank balance. In February 2025, Stephen Bartlett asked Jimmy if he was a billionaire. Jimmy's answer was, "On paper, yeah, but in my actual bank account, I have less than $1 million. For almost anyone, that is enormous. Against a multi-billion-dollar company, it is basically pocket lint." He also said he pays himself just enough to cover his personal spending each month. Then, in June, he posted that he was borrowing from his mom for his wedding. His reason? Beast expected to spend around $250 million on content that year. So the money did exist. Jimmy had simply assigned almost all of it another job. By January 2026, the wording got even crazier. "I have negative money right now. I'm borrowing money." Now, we cannot verify the literal balance. His bank statements are private, but the pattern is consistent. Jimmy intentionally keeps very little money outside the business. That can make him cash poor. It does not make him poor. Real poverty removes your options. Jimmy is choosing where an enormous amount of value stays. Now open the second box, ownership. In a November 2024 deposition, Donaldson said he owned a little over half of Beast Industries. The company was later valued at roughly $5 billion. Do the headline math, and his stake clears $2.5 billion on paper. That is before any later dilution, investor preferences, or taxes. Still, it is a gigantic asset. This was not a random celebrity net worth guess. The valuation came from actual private fundraising. But a private company valuation is not a checking account. He cannot tap a Beast Industries share at a coffee shop. Selling a huge block could reduce his control, create a tax bill, and require an actual buyer, and that $5 billion price can move up, down, or brutally down. The proper word is illiquid. He is rich in ownership, not loose cash. The fortune is real enough to matter, but too locked up to behave like a normal salary. The third box is where most explanations completely fall apart: company money. Beast Industries generated about $473 million in revenue during 2024. That sounds like Jimmy made $473 million. He did not. Revenue is everything entering the building. Profit is what survives after payroll, prizes, sets, chocolate, software, and every other bill. The same dollar can count as company revenue without ever becoming the founder's spending money. And the media side was not quietly printing money. An investor deck put 2024 media revenue near $224 million against roughly $344 million in costs. That is a $120 million gap between money in and money out. Different accounting reports put the net loss lower, but the direction is identical. The videos were expensive enough to erase their own enormous revenue. One report placed the final media loss near $80 million. Either version is deep red. Beast Games shows how this happens. Amazon's deal was worth about $100 million. Jimmy still said he lost tens of millions making season 1. More than $29 million reportedly went into the sets for just the first 2 episodes. The show became a massive hit. Financially, Jimmy called it a bad decision. It reached 50 million viewers in its first 25 days. That sentence is basically the MrBeast business model in miniature: spectacular attention, painful economics. Then remember his 2025 estimate, $250 million on content in 1 year. If that spending were perfectly even, it would be about $685,000 a day, roughly $28,500 an hour, nearly $8 every second, including while you sleep. That was a public estimate, not an audited total, but it explains why a huge bank balance can vanish before it ever becomes personal wealth. This looks completely broken if the videos are the final product, but they are also the world's loudest marketing engine. In 2024, Feastables produced about $250 million in sales and more than $20 million in profit. The chocolate business made roughly as much revenue as the media side, while actually making money. That is roughly 8 cents of profit for every sales dollar. The videos create attention. The shelves convert that attention into profit. Now the empty wallet starts to make strategic sense. A bigger video attracts a bigger audience. That audience buys products. Product growth increases the company's valuation. A higher valuation attracts new investment, and that investment can fund even bigger videos. Jimmy does not pull money out of the loop. He keeps speeding it up. His own phrase for money was simple: money is fuel to grow a business. Except a flywheel this aggressive has one terrifying requirement: fresh fuel. Time reported that Beast Industries lost $500 million across 5 years. Its CEO said the company cut more than $100 million in operating expenses over 14 months. He expected the business to turn its first profit in 2026. Those cuts matter, because growth does not protect a company when the cash arrives slower than the bills. If views slow, the marketing engine weakens. If products stall, the videos lose their subsidy. And then the machine found more fuel. In January 2026, BitMine announced a $200 million equity investment into Beast Industries. That does not mean Jimmy received a $200 million personal check. The company received capital in exchange for ownership. That can dilute existing owners, including Jimmy, but it proves he has something an ordinary broke person does not: the ability to attract hundreds of millions without selling the whole empire. So, how broke is MrBeast actually? In personal liquidity, by his own account, extremely cash poor, sometimes negative. In paper wealth, likely worth billions, though concentrated in one private company and difficult to spend. And in financial power, nowhere close to broke. He controls a giant revenue machine, owns a huge asset, and can bring in outside capital when the machine needs it. If I had to score it, cash on hand, maybe 1 out of 10. Paper assets and access to money, essentially 10. That is not broke in the normal sense. It is a risky, deliberate choice to own the machine instead of keeping the cash. The empty wallet may be real, so is the empire behind it.